After singer Misha Shafi, 3 more women have now leveled allegations of sexual harassment against famous actor-singer Ali Zafar.
He was grabbing my breast.
Recently, there's a lot of cases related to sexual harassment in Chinese colleges.
Oh, have you ever thought about what may be the potential reason for this kind of sexual harassment issue?
Some events like the sexual harassment cases happening in universities are blocked by the government.
Do you feel that you frequently hear about some news about sexual harassment?
A lot of people also think that the gender inequality is the main cause and the primary cause of the sexual harassment. Do you support this view?
Hello, I'm Antonia. We are at the listening post of the Grass News. Here's the story we are going to chat today. First, sexual harassment crisis happened in PKU 20 years ago, and its impact on China's Me Too campaign and media's role in this too progress. Recently, an article revealing the sexual crime happened 20 years ago in PKU University gets public attention and keeps smearing. The author Li Youyu writes that her immediate friend Gao Yan was raped by her professor Shen Yang and committed suicide out of pressure. However, Shen Yang didn't get much punishment and is now teaching in Nanjing University, another top university in China. The whole event rose public outrage, and in the background of Me Too campaign arising, it has some effect raising people's awareness about sexual harassment. Li says that revealing the fact was soon deleted by the official after it was published. A news media Caixin reported this event that day, and it was deleted too. However, on the next early morning, NJU made a response by Weibo. And the day after, PTU made a similar response, saying that they would reinvestigate what had happened 20 years ago and give the victim justice. After PTU and NJU's response, this news began to emerge on all kinds of news media on Chinese network like Sina or Sohu, and they were not blocked by the government this time. However, people's discussion on Weibo and Zhihu were blocked or deleted to varying degrees. It seems that Chinese media wants to keep the whole event under official control, preventing explosion of public opinions. Any reports of the Chinese media, although there are criticism on PTU's mishandling on Gao's suicide 20 years ago, they praise PTU and NJU's quick responses this time. They hold views that it is a positive thing that it arose official attention and they were being responsible, trying to fix the problems. And Chinese netizens also give compliments on the cautious attitude to universities too, and feel thankful about their taking it seriously. However, foreign media held totally different views. BBC said that Chinese people are not just mad at the attacker Shen Yang, but also quite angry about PTU for the unhealthy power relation between professors and students. And what PTU and NJU has done is just merely an attempt to reduce pressure from public opinions rather than to really solve the problems and find out the truth, which is unfair for victims, also helps grow in cyber violence. New York Times think that neither PTU or NJU has shown a sign of rethinking the improper relationship between Chinese teachers and students, not to mention thinking about how to improve it.
They just tell us to take care of ourselves. Let's just tell girls to take care of ourselves, but doesn't take any actions to do something to stop them. Yeah, I think it's disturbing.
I guess for most of us, the college students, we feel powerless in this kind of stuff because in college we are faced with these professors. They are just like really powerful people, and they have the right to decide our future. So and if I were the girl who got sexual harassment, I would have done the same. I would commit suicide. I guess it's really powerless for us, and we feel so bad for her.
And towards this different attitude from foreign media, people have very different attitude towards that too.
So when there's no quick response, it's really bad for people or organization or schools that involved in this event. So it's so the foreign media is right. They're right that PKU want to cover this bad influence, so that they make a quick response. But for Chinese people, Chinese media, this is the first time that the school gave a quick response after this event. So for us, this thing gave us hope.
Nanjing University and Peking University made a quick response to this news. I think it's a good thing. I don't think the foreign media think they wanna cover things up. I think if something come out and you solve it or respond to it, I guess it's the best way to solve the problem. But if you keep the things going or keep the things deteriorating, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think the Western media is always criticizing about China, criticizing about Chinese human rights or something like that. I don't think it's a good thing. I think China is improving rapidly. This time, I think Peking University and Nanjing University made a good start for such kind of news in universities in China.
In general, Chinese media really held a neutral side and inclined into China's government, developing positive images for its audience, while media from other regions or countries always take the opposite side of Chinese government and directly point out the core issue in the whole event and critique on it. But it doesn't mean that their report is more close to the truth. They may also deliberately create negative images for China. It will be much better to view it from different aspects. The Me Too movement is an international movement against sexual harassment in adults. #MeToo spread virally in October 2017 as a hashtag used on social media to help demonstrate the widespread prevalence of sexual assault and harassment, especially in workplaces. It started by Alyssa Milano when she exposed the famous director Harvey Weinstein, who sexually harassed her years ago, and encouraged women to tweet about it and give people a sense of the magnitude of the problems. But this event was not widely spread in China. Although China has a very powerful and strong internet system, and information spreads fastly on its social media, Me Too movement did not make a big hit. And differently and interestingly, while other countries are mostly revealing sexual harassment in workplaces, #MeToo in China started with cases in top universities and keeps raging on. In January, Dr. Luo Xixi wrote an article reporting her former professor sexually assaulting her, and soon she got a positive response and the professor was dismissed, which marked the beginning of Me Too in China. And Liz essays followed that, wishing to draw public attention again, and she succeeded. However, even public rage has been stimulated, Me Too movement is still without enough attention. And one of the reasons is the lack of government support. Blocking important revealing articles, limiting media's reports, deleting people's comments on social media. The heat of the campaign is deliberately kept at low. To discuss it more profoundly, it's not totally unreasonable why Chinese government is blocking related events from public. China is a country trying their best to maintain the society's stability. And everything that might destroy the stability will be blocked and deleted. And because red, yellow, blue nursery child abuse incident happened half a year ago, caused public arrest. So the government is taking similar events quite seriously. Prevent it from happening again. So they tried every way to kill the potential threat. Internet grows fast in the past decade, and it has become the platform for all Chinese to spread their ideas. But those ideas and statements could be easily used by some people when some of the Chinese netizens have not enough mature worldviews. So to maintain the harmony of the society, Chinese government choose to block them all.
The thing is, I haven't heard about the hashtag #MeToo movement on Weibo, but I actually haven't really seen it for myself. So I'm not sure, but I'm wondering, is it banned and censored after a while, or can you still find it?
Yeah, that's the problem because the movement has spread in China, but there are not a lot of people actually talking about it. And some events like the sexual harassment cases happening in universities are blocked by the government. So what's your opinion on that? Why do you think they are blocking this?
They have been quieting down big social mobilization. When something gets too big, it's just an automatic response to calm it down. That's why I think that's what's happening. Before the Me Too movement getting so big, it's not just the Me Too movement, I'm pretty sure, and other issues as well. It just tends to disappear after a while.
And also, Chinese government wants to shape a good image both nationally and internationally. So they want to keep those defects of the society unknown or low-key. And in some way, it does work.
In China, no, to be honest. No, never, to be honest. I know some acquaintances, especially in the big companies, when especially the women, they went there and the bosses, they just want to take advantage of her. So yeah, I heard some things, but generally no.
Last year, an article on China Daily arose public rage. In this post written by a man called Sava Hansen, saying that the type of sexual harassment allegedly perpetrated by Harvard Weston could never have happened in China because of its cultural traditions. And Guardian reported with a critical voice. And it gave statistics showing that more than 1/3 university women students have experienced sexual harassment. However, the problem was made worse because many women are afraid of or ashamed of telling their stories. According to a public account called NGO-CN, it wrote an article revealing that in the past 4 years, there were at least 13 cases of sexual harassment happening in university being exposed on social media and got public attention. But 1/3 of them left no trace and were forgot by the internet. And similar crimes never stop. There is a famous Taiwanese writer Lin Yihan who suffered from sexual abuse from her teacher for years before she committed suicide. When she received an interview, she said, "I was sure that incidents like this would continue to happen, and that they were happening at the moment." She also wrote a book about sexual harassment, but although her book has become a big hit in Taiwan and mainland China, it's hard to say that it really arose people's awareness or actually changed something. People talking about it on social media, sharing their own opinions, just like what they did in Gaoyan's event. So, what this event can lead to eventually is still unclear. So although we might understand why Chinese government is blotting people's ideas away, it's still unacceptable for Chinese, especially the victims, to lose the freedom to speak out and let others know. The broadly spread of this news helped Me Too campaign spread on China's social media, and Me Too helped people in China to speak out. It's not easy to deal with sexual-related events in China because of conservative attitudes and lack of sexual education. So this event could be a good sign and motivation for Chinese women with similar experience to speak out for themselves. And also, while public attention has turned to universities, it will definitely reduce crimes from teachers. Chinese people sincerely hope that Chinese government gives them more freedom and be positive about those crimes. What they want to see is the transparency when dealing with the cases. Today is May the 14th, 1 month after this essay is first published, and 1 month after PTU and NJU made their first quick responses. However, on both universities' official accounts, there were no more related announcements since then. The progress of the whole event is still unclear. See you next time. Here is a listening post from Grass News.